You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Out of lives.
Targaryens are gone. Not all of them. Burn them all.
Everyone who isn't us is an enemy.
Your mother was a dumb whore with a fat ass. Did you know that?
There is no word for thank you in Dothraki.
Lannister.
Fire cannot kill the dragon.
We plead for a reprieve. Lannister always pays his debts.
Good evening. Welcome to the first episode of Out of Thrones. Before we begin, I want to warn you that the following show contains strong language, intense nerdgasms, and spoilers for the first 5 seasons of Game of Thrones. You've been warned. So, joining me tonight, we have Kevin of House Tarn.
Valamagules.
I knew he was going to say that, and I completely forgot what I was going to say that.
Oh, come on, Dave. This is
Do you know what? I thought I better write that down, because he's going to say it, and I can never remember the return.
Vala de Horace, isn't it?
Yeah, no, Vala de Horace, right? Just edit that bit in later.
Okay, right, it's done. I'm so not
and Robert from the Pie Isles.
Who ate all the pies?
And Luke Lannister, an inbred freak.
Hodor.
That went well. And I, of course, I am your host, Dave, King in the South Wyatt.
Why are you king?
Well, because one of us has to be.
If anything, I should be king.
No.
Why is that?
Because my name's Robert, King Robert.
You mean the fat bastard who dies because he's too drunk?
We'll kill you off in the first couple of episodes of this.
Or King Rob. or King Rob Stark, you know, there's two of them.
Well, that's not a much better fate.
Yeah, true.
Well, it's Game of Thrones, everyone dies.
The only person that is doing alright will be the inbred dude.
Yeah. Do you know everyone in Game of Thrones? There's only 2 people who in the whole thing have died of natural causes.
Really?
Someone said, yeah, it's Hoster Tully, you know, what's her name's dad, and I can't, someone else.
Aemon.
Aemon. Yeah, those are the only 2 people in the whole series who have died from natural causes.
It depends what you decide of as natural causes, though. I think if I had my belly sliced open and all my innards fell out, I would die of natural death because I no longer have innards.
Technically, I guess you're right, Dave.
I think we've gone off topic. Yeah, we're arguing semantics of murder.
Yeah, we have. Right, so I thought first we could talk a bit about ourselves and our relationship with the wonderful Game of Thrones universe. Yeah. So let's start with you, Kev. Who are you, for starters? Who are you? Why should we care?
I'm Kevin, and I'm of House Tarn, and I started watching Game of Thrones round about, thinking back, I think it was when season 4 just started. And I was hearing all this buzz about it, and I was like, oh, it can't be that good. And it actually took me 2 attempts to stick to it, because the first time I tried to watch it, I think I got about 2 episodes in, and I thought it was a bit slow, and I was like, oh, no, it's not really my thing. Then about a month or so later, I gave it another go, and it actually stuck with me, so that's how far I got. And I'm the one who actually got Robert into it, so...
And Kev kept saying to me that you wait. Like, when I was watching it, when I was getting up to about season 3, he kept saying, you wait, watch. And then I was like, okay. And I was just wondering, I just kept thinking, what's going to happen?
I'm surprised. I don't know how you didn't get it, because I let you watch that whole series on your own. And then the Red Wedding episode, I went and watched it with him. So obviously something was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the whole way through, you're just sort of staring at him with a silly grin on your face.
I was just gutted.
The camera hidden just out of sight. It's like, what are you doing? It's like nothing.
I should have recorded this reaction.
Actually, one of my favourite YouTube videos is some dude watching, when right back in the beginning when Ned gets his head lopped off. And it's just some dude what? No! He's the star of the show! You can't just kill the star of your show! But I was exactly like that.
Yeah, I was, to be fair.
I had the same reaction, but then I thought afterwards it was Sean Bean. What did I expect to happen?
Yeah, that's very true. That is very true. And what about you, Luke? Because you actually got me into Game of Thrones, if I remember rightly.
Well, there was a huge amount of buzz around it. I think it was when season 1 or 2 came out, and I was in Game Station, and they had the book, the first one, so I bought it. Tried to read the first chapter, and I thought, this is fucking slow, and I'll get back to it later, and I never did. And then the first 2 seasons came out, and Martin, my friend, who I nearly lost his friendship over this, funny story, because apparently I spoiled something for him anyway, he was like, no, it's amazing, watch the first 2 series. I was like, oh, this is really good, really enjoyed it, and then it got to the point where Ed Stark's head got cut off, and I was like, well, holy shit, I love it, this is awesome. I went back and read all the books in about, I think, 2 months.
So just out of curiosity, before we go to Dave, where was the point in the series where it proper got its hooks into you?
Book or TV?
TV.
I would say Just trying to think. I'd say season 1 TV, like the end of it, because I thought, oh, okay, they're not going to kill him, and then it's like, oh, they did, and I realised this show isn't going to pull any punches.
Mm-hmm.
And the book, I really got into it. Same thing, but at that point, I'd already watched the TV show.
Yeah.
So I'd seen the first two books. I'd essentially already knew what was going to happen. There was some differences. With the books, I really, really got into it at the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
The TV show actually is a lot more gruesome than the book. But the Red Wedding, it's kind of like, the build-up's a lot slower. And Kate, because it's from Caitlyn's point of view, and like she's noticing all these weird things, and you're like, you know something's up, but you're not sure what. And then all of a sudden, like, she puts her arm on what's his name, Lord Bolton's her hand on his arm, and she feels the chainmail, and then you think, uh-oh, and that's when it kicks off.
So there's only been 3 episodes in the whole series where at the end I've just had my middle finger up at the TV screen, and that was the Red Wedding. I did a happy middle finger when Joffrey died,
and then the happy what was it, the Mountain and the Viper? Is that one?
It was Jon Snow.
Yeah,
it was death.
I vowed to stop watching the show when that happened.
So I had 2 sad middle fingers and 1 happy middle finger. What about you, Dave? Anyway, how did you get into it?
No, pretty much like Luke was rabbiting on about it for ages, and then I think he actually, gave me a couple of episodes on a USB stick. Completely legal, legit.
Of course, yeah.
100% legit episodes. But I watched 2 off of the stick before I'd ordered the DVD box set off of Amazon.
See, so he secured a purchase, so it was all in, like...
Yeah, exactly. No, although the first series is really slow, the moment Bran, who I hated, got chucked out that window, I'm like, sold. Done. I need more.
Wasn't that episode 1?
That is literally episode 1. That's how it ends, isn't it?
There's a bit in the books, right, where when he sees them, he's like, because it's narrated from his point of view as a kid, because he's a lot younger in the books, and he's like, why are they wrestling naked? And then all of a sudden, Jamie just runs up to him and shoves him out the window. There's no slow, it's not slow and like that kind of stuff. That he's like, why are they wrestling naked? Jamie just walks up to him and like basically pushes him out.
So I think I'd prefer that, like, because... But thinking back now to the character of Jamie that we have now and the character we have in the beginning, where he just sort of like that smarmy, the things I do for love, and chucks him out the window, you just think, you fuck. And now, I know that he's supposed to have obviously evolved as the show's gone on anyway, but now, like, you just can't imagine the same character doing that sort of
I reckon he'd do it in
then.
a heartbeat.
Yeah, probably.
What, even now?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's lost his hand. It's like, everybody thinks just because he lost his hand, he's suddenly, like...
he's got one hand now, he's got a conscience.
Well, he's not like Theon, he didn't lose his penis. So.
Well, the thing is, Jamie's hand, when he loses it, it kind of like forces him, like, because he can't fight anymore, he can't fight worth a damn. So it kind of forces him, like...
So now he has to be nice because he'll get his ass kicked.
And yeah, and like it forces him to like use his brain, and it turns out he's actually really good at it.
Right, moving on. Right, so I thought, like, obviously season 6 hasn't come out yet. This is our pilot episode before season 6 comes out to decide whether or not we're going to keep Luke around. Still not sure. But I thought we could sort of have a bit of a catch up. Where are they now? Sort of, so I've got a list of me in front of me of all the different characters, and we'll see how well you've all remembered it. The problem is Luke never got around to watching fucking season 5.
I know all the big stuff.
So like, why didn't you watch season 5?
Because one, I've been working a lot recently, and 2, I forgot. I'm going to be honest.
But it's been out for a year. You only had a job for six months.
7 months. And, originally I wasn't going to watch it because I was like, I don't want the book spoiled for me, because originally Winds of Winter was meant to be out this year. That's obviously not going to happen. And then you said about the podcast, I was like, oh, okay, I'll get back on, I'll watch it. And then day at work, they were like, if you do all this overtime, you'll get like all this extra money. And I thought, well, I could do it.
It's fine, Luke. You don't have to defend yourself, Dave.
Yeah, that's right. No, it's fine. It's fine. We'll let you off. But like,
thank you.
Like, just ask questions if you get confused.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyway. So let's start with the big one at the end of the last series, right?
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Jon Snow, played by Kit Harington, right? Where is he now? He's dead.
Lying on the ground.
He is dead.
He is in the snow.
So, yeah, so after him and Tormund Giant Spain's mission to rescue the wildlings at Hardhome didn't exactly go to plan, he comes back and, the Sir Alistair.
Prick.
Yeah.
Led by that dick, Sir Alistair. So my notes are funny. He sort of like, you're a bit of a dick, Jon Snow. You come back here with all your wildlings and all that. Not fucking having it and all that. And leads a rebellion and has him stabbed. And not just stabbed, like, that was a cold death, that was. That was heartless.
It was extremely heartless, but the thing is, somebody pointed it out to me that you have to look at it from Sir Alison's point of view, where they've been at war with these wildlings for hundreds of years? I'm not 100% sure on the law, but for many years. And now this guy who's been the what's the name? What's the title he's got?
I literally have
Lord.
that dick. Sir Alistair is literally the title I've given him in my notes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, he got hit.
He's brought all.
No, you are right though. Jon Snow gave him a title, didn't he, when he was sort of elected? But I can't remember what the title was because we're so professional.
But that's one mistake Jon's made, the same as Ned Stark made. He's putting honour in front of smart.
Well, what's his face? Stannis said to Jon Snow about keeping your enemies close, didn't he? And he just didn't listen to him. He was like,
"That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that."
Because I can't.
Sorry, who's taking advice from Stannis?
True.
But yeah, no, that death with the for the Night's Watch, and then his little mate comes along, and you just sort of see the look in Jon's eyes. He's like, "Is he going to help? No," and then he rams the knife.
That was like the knife in my back when I saw him stab him.
I hope he dies. I know it sounds wrong, but I do.
Thing is,
no, I'm with you.
Jon Snow didn't blame him for killing Ygritte either. He just took him under his wing and carried on, didn't he?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's annoying.
I get the whole, they've been fighting against these people for ages, but fucking armies of zombies and White Walkers are heading towards your gates. Fucking get over it.
Has Sir Alistair seen them yet, though? I don't think he quite comprehends
I don't know,
the danger.
Yeah,
he's been on Beyond the Wall though, hasn't he? Surely he must have seen something.
Yeah, because pretty much the entire Night's Watch went forward, and then they all got slaughtered, didn't they?
All right, yeah.
And then they went to Craster's Keep, and then it was like
that went well.
Yeah.
Hardhome was a pretty epic episode though.
Oh, I love that
of last year. And what shocked me the most was that was episode 8, because you always expect the big scenes to be the big battles and that have always traditionally been episode 9. So episode 8, I sit down, and at the end of it, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm watching that again, right now.
It was nearly as good as the Battle of Blackwater.
Yeah, true. I just love it when when Jon Snow's fighting that White Walker and he just does that little deflect and then just cuts him. I love that scene.
Oh, well, it sort of shatters it.
Yeah, that's awesome, that scene.
His Valyrian steel short sword, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to Jon's little half-sister, Arya. One of my favourite characters than about anyone else.
I don't know.
I hate her.
She's alright.
You hate her?
I do not. I think Arya, she's for the whole series, she's just been filled with rage and anger, and she's been just about vengeance. There's a fit, because in the series, has he gone south yet?
Yeah,
he's gone south. Yeah. In the books, there's a guy called Farion, or he's this musician. Jon Snow sends him with him. He's like, "You're a musician. You're good at charming people. I want you to recruit people for the Night Watch." And he sort of abandons Sam. At this point, Sam goes nuts and beats the crap out of this guy. It's the first and only time Sam goes. He's the first. It's the first and only time he goes absolutely mental because he's like, "You've betrayed Jon. You've betrayed the Night's Watch." Beats this guy down, and this guy abandons it. And then Arya comes across him, and he's like, "Oh, you abandoned the Night's Watch," and she kills him out in cold blood. And it's and she's kind of hiding Needle as well, so she's betraying the Faceless Men. And I really think at some point she's going to come back and kill someone out of vengeance, and it's going to really fuck everything up for someone, for the good guys.
She murdered Meryn Trant. Please correct me if I get my names wrong, because I can't really read half these fucking stupid names. But she killed Meryn Trant. He was the leader of the Kingsguard. Was he the leader of the Kingsguard? I believe so.
He was an ex-member of the Kingsguard or something like that.
Yeah, he was when she killed him, but back in the day. Yeah. After he had murdered her mentor, Syrio Forel. Yeah. I'm good at this. So she's already let her vengeance sort of fuck things up for her, but she's been rendered blind now as a punishment, so that would be interesting. Do we think it's permanent?
But it might be, but because she's a warg, she can see through the eyes of animals.
Oh, so it should be right.
Yeah, there's this thing in a book where the Faceless Man is is messing with her while she's blind, and there's a cat in the rafters above, and she can see through it. And he goes to do something, and she blocks him and hits him, and he's like, "How the hell did you do that?" And she's like, "I've got my own secret."
That's what I was going to say. Is that canon in the TV series?
That's what
I'm not sure it is.
Bran becomes Bran's paralyzed, but he probably becomes the most powerful out of all of them, because he can do this thing with the. I think it's basically. I don't know if it's everywhere. It's like with certain. There's those special trees in like the castles, like the Weirwoods or Witchwoods or something like that.
Yeah. With the
he basically gets the power to sort of like that's it. He has the power to like basically he can see near them, like he can effectively see through most of Westeros.
But the thing is, I think they've diverged from the books quite a bit already in the show, and I don't know if they're going to take that storyline with Arya and Jon, because I know even Jon's meant to be a warg.
I don't know. There was a bit of a hint in the trailers. Like there was a scene that it could be. It's quite similar to when the other guy did it to the crow or whatever he turned into.
Yeah.
So maybe
they've already ignored left out a huge chunk of Bran's story involving a guy called Cold Hands.
Well, we've got a lot going on this season with Bran, I reckon, so we might get some of that. We don't go too spoilery, but I think we can have some of that this season.
We'll save that for the theories bit anyway. Right. After Arya, we've got her red-headed sister, Sansa Stark, Sophie Turner, she's red-headed again now, isn't she? She went dark for a little while. She's back.
Well, she did play Jean Grey, didn't she? So I think she had to be redhead.
True, very true. So after a failed engagement to her psychopath in King's Landing, that's our lovely Joffrey, who God rest his soul and all that. I've got a mate,
wise and noble leader.
Slightly off topic. I've got a mate whose Facebook profile picture is Joffrey and has been for years, and I just think it's just a really weird person to like aspire to be. Anyway, she went on to marry another psychopath in Winterfell, Ramsay Bolton, under the advice from scheming Littlefinger.
That, just going to say, I am here for my book knowledge. That is one of the biggest differences from the book so far.
Right, okay.
Oh, really? She doesn't meet Bolton, Ramsay?
No, not in the book's completely different. In the book, she's basically in the Eyrie. The Erie's like the one place that the war hasn't touched, because they're just like, we're not getting involved in this. And she's, Jon Arryn's son, Robin.
The little wimpy one.
Yeah, well, his mum is killed, and they frame this musician guy for it. Littlefinger blames him, and she's like, I have to pretend, because she's secretly betrothed to him, and then when he grows up, they'll be married, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. And she's like, and this kid is like, he's like a pussified Joffrey. He's not as psychotic, but he's really just messed up. And then she's like, but she learns how to sort of manipulate him. Like, she becomes really good at manipulating him, and they're really good at keeping her identity secret, because she doesn't reveal it to anyone in the books. Only her aunt, Littlefinger, and the kid know. Anyway, Littlefinger basically says, well, Jon Arryn has an illegitimate son, so we're going to arrange an accident for Robin, and this guy will inherit the Eyrie, and then we'll reveal you as the last true heir of the North, and we'll marry you off, and you'll have control of the whole North, and we can take back the kingdom. So it's kind of building. I really think Littlefinger is building up to get them married. So she'll inherit like North and the Eyrie, and he'll kill the other guy and marry her, and he'll take control of all that. I think that's what he's building to.
What, in the book or in the series? You think?
In the book, I think in the series they'll probably do something similar. But in the book, the person who marries Ramsay is like this other girl that went to King's Landing with them, a friend of Sansa's called Jane Poole. And they say, this is Arya Stark, because in the books no one knows what Arya is. They assume she's dead, and they say she's Arya Stark, and they marry her to Ramsay in faking who she is, so they can say he's the heir to the North or something like that. And Theon rescues her.
Well, Theon's so Theon's sort of rescued Sansa at the end of season 5. They jumped off a wall together after she finds out that he didn't kill her brothers after all. That wall was like 100 foot, but judging from the trailers, they were all right.
Like they did Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, it's like they landed in the hay bale.
I'd like to know. I hope they do show that, like where they landed, because if it's just in like an inch of snow, I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, I know a few people who thought
dragons are fine.
Yeah, dragons are fine.
Taking control of walls is fine, but you don't fuck with gravity. No. That's a fundamental law. You can't mess with gravity.
It still is a law in that universe, but I know a few people who watched that and sort of took that to be them committing suicide. I didn't personally, but
no, it's not. George R. R. Martin, this is one of his things. When someo's dead, there's no question. Right, okay. Like he doesn't. He does not leave it.
This is something we'll hit on later. This is something we'll go into later.
But yeah, she's blatantly not dead. She's in the trailers for the next series, so.
George R. R. Martin wants you to know when someone's dead.
Kev, do you want to take Littlefinger, as you wrote a lovely?
After brokering the marriage between Sansa Stark and Ramsay Bolton behind Cersei's back, Littlefinger is summoned back to King's Landing by Cersei so she can ascertain his loyalties. Littlefinger informs her about the marriage between the two, but fails to mention he was the one who organised it. Cersei is outraged, and Littlefinger offers to use the Vale's forces to defeat whoever is left after the battle between Stannis and the Boltons. We then learn of Littlefinger's true goal. He asks Cersei to be named Warden of the North, to which she agrees. Before he can leave, however, he is confronted by Grandmother Tyrell, who threatens to reveal Baelish's role in Joffrey's murder if he doesn't help her to get her 2 grandchildren back out of the High Sparrow's prison. Littlefinger arranges for Lancel Lannister to tell the High Sparrow of Cersei's crimes. So Littlefinger is basically winding everyone around his little finger, and he seems to have his fingers into everyone, doesn't he?
Yeah,
like literally up their ass.
He is like the most despicable, evil, slimy. I love him.
He is. I tell you, Aidan Gillen, he plays him so well.
He doesn't play the accent very well, though. His accent is very, like 1 minute it's full blown Irish, and the other time it's just not at all. Like it's the same.
Like whenever I see him do American accent, I think it was in the Maze Runner trying to do an American accent, and it goes from Irish to American all the time. He's not the best at accents.
No, but it's fine because he's just great. He's a pleasure to watch. What a cunt, though.
Yeah,
What is it? There's a quote from the show where he says, "If I have to be king of the ashes, I will be." So he's willing to burn Winterfell and King's Landing and it all down to like ashes in order just to rule over it.
But I mean, a lot of the shit going down in Westeros is down to Littlefinger, like.
Oh yeah, he's the one who started the war from the beginning. Like he's the one he planned it all out to go this way.
Yeah,
he had a little bit of help from Joffrey though, because it's revealed Joffrey is the one in the books. I don't know if they do it in the show because it's really subtle how it's done. Tyrion figures it out. Joffrey's the one that tried to have Bran killed.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, it's revealed. Actually, Joffrey, he's a psychopath, but it's basically from being a little kid, they knew something was wrong. Like they wonder. He says, "Why is the cat so fat?" And they're like, "Oh, there's lots of baby cats in there." And he's like, "Oh, I want to see them," and cuts the cat open to get the babies out.
That doesn't surprise me with Joffrey.
And Robert like smacks him, and from then on is like he's distant with him, and Joffrey just wants his love. So he hears on the way back from the very beginning, Robert say, "Oh, poor Bran. It'd be better if he was dead. It'd be kinder for everyone." So Joffrey hires an assassin, gives him that dagger, and says, "Kill Bran." And that's kind of like sets everything off.
Oh, I thought you meant right. I get you now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, we're done with Joffrey's storyline. I don't think they'll allude to that now.
No, it happens. It happened when Tyrion and Joffrey were still alive. Like Tyrion's like playing mind games with him, trying to work out, and he figures it out. And then that's why Joffrey.
This is why I love the TV show so much, because there is the book, and they do borrow a lot from the book, but the TV show is its own thing, and they're weaving their own stories, even though they're related in some way to the book.
Yeah,
They meld characters into one person, and they take storylines and change them up a bit. And I like that they're going their own separate way with it all.
I would like to eventually read the books. It's just the fucking effort.
I've started reading the first book. I'm near the end now, but I've got book 2, but I need to get the rest.
Every time you get to a Bran chapter, do you like let out an audible groan?
No, when I get to Sansa, that's when I let out an audible groan.
Oh god, yeah, Sansa's chapters.
Right, moving on. You go on, Kev. You do Cersei as well.
Oh god damn! You always let me do the big ones.
That's right. You wrote like the fucking essays on each of the characters. My notes on each character is like 3 lines long, and then Kev hands in a fucking paragraph.
Oh Jesus! Right, stick with me on this one. After the funeral of her dad, Cersei orders a bounty on Tyrion's head. She then sends Jaime to Dorne to rescue her daughter Marcella from the Sand Snakes after she receives a threatening message. Cersei then appoints herself as the new hand of the king while her son decides what he wants. After a trading of insults with her new daughter-in-law, Marjorie, Cersei takes the offensive as she feels her power slipping away. Cersei makes the leader of an extremist group known as the High Sparrow the new scepter, and in doing so gives him and his extremist group, the Faith Militant, power over everyone in King's Landing. With this, Cersei arranges for Loras to be arrested for being a homosexual and Marjorie for lying about it. However, Karma has other plans for Cersei, and she is arrested after Lancel, her cousin, who is also of the Faith Militant, confesses she slept with him. Chucked in a prison cell as well, Cersei wrestles with her pride and ego, but eventually confesses to sleeping with her cousin, but not to the other charges of sleeping with her brother. With this confession, she is allowed to leave the prison and is made to walk a walk of shame, completely naked with crowds of people shouting abuse at her. As she finally makes it back to the keep, she is greeted by the new Hand of the King, Uncle Kevin. Yeah, you go, Kevin. And also the newest member of the King's Guard, a freakishly large giant, which happens to be the reanimated corpse of Gregor Clegane, or so we think. Because it's not been confirmed, does it?
Yeah, but it
pretty much is.
Yeah. Cersei's not one of those characters that just seems like...
You just want to punch her in the face.
Everyone says she loves her children, but she always seems to me like she's just trying to fight for more power than she loves her children.
She does love her children, but at the same time, she loves them by trying to get power for them. It's Tywin says something in the TV show. I can't remember if he says it in the books. The reason I don't trust you isn't because you're a woman. It's because you're not as smart as you think you are, and that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
It rings a bell. So I think he did say something along those lines too.
There's a few, because in the books there's a few things she does like leading up to it. Like she stops repaying the Iron Bank, right? So they go to Stannis and fund him, and they say, "Yeah, have all the money you want as long as you destroy Cersei and the Lannisters," because they stop paying us back. She starts building a fleet of these like grand like warships, and she makes this pirate guy her admiral. And when she's arrested, he just steals them all. Like this fleet of massive warships, he just buggers off with them. The reason she makes the High Sparrows, like the reason they get their power, is because in the books the church owes them, or they owe the church like millions, and she says, "Oh, I'll let you reform the church's militant wing if you forgive the debt." And he's like, "Okay, fine," and she creates them. And
so it's not Marjorie who causes her to take...
That would actually be a better storyline, to be honest.
But it gets better. There's these knights she has that she's appointed to the King's Guard called the Kettle Blacks, and she kind of manipulates them by fucking them and trying to get them to Marjorie and like frame her. And the Sparrows interrogate them and find out that she's the one behind everything, and that's why she's like taken into custody and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it's not because Littlefinger gets Lancel to confess to the High Sparrow. It's a completely different story.
No, that bit is true. He does convert to them, but the catalyst is the Kettle Blacks, which they're not in the show.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
it does sound like a bit of a better storyline to get to the same place, because I don't know. Like I didn't like Cersei. Well, I didn't like Cersei. She's a twat, but like. I do like Cersei's storylines because it's always like just so devious and it's just great to watch.
It's like a female Littlefinger, but not quite as clever.
No, she's worse, I think.
But I was saying before about the epilogue Dance of Dragons, Varys comes back and kills someone to set two people against each other. He kills someone to set Cersei against the Martells to weaken their power base. So because he's
trying to split the Martells and the Lancers.
Yeah, he's trying to get them to fight against.
That's where they're getting all their power from at the minute, isn't it? The Martells, because they've got the army and the money.
In the show, they still money. In the books, there's nothing about the Lannisters running out of gold. They're still like they're still filthy rich.
Characters are so different in the books. I didn't realise they were so different.
But, it made you when I actually fucking read them.
But the thing is, after Cersei's Walk of Shame in the book, she's completely different. Like she's really like.
Well, we literally
humbled.
see the Walk of Shame and then it ends, so we don't know what effect that's having.
Well, it's obvious she's just going to go on a big revenge spree just from the trailer.
I think the revenge spree will be from what Varys does. I'm not going to say any more because I don't think it's happened yet.
But Varys is with Tyrion, isn't he? He's not. He's in.
I think some version of it's going to happen, but she's like really humbled, really like. She's like, okay, I'm not going to get involved anymore. She's going to be a mother, and then you just know.
I can't see that, man. No. The way they've built the character on the TV show.
I think they're going to start with that, and then at the end, something's going to stir her again. But I think she's going to be more dangerous.
I hate when they keep redeeming all the characters. Bad guys.
No. I'm not saying she's redeemed. I'm saying it just kind of like makes her like not want to play the game anymore because it breaks her spirit. And I think what Varys does.
I feel sorry for her though.
Yeah. So
I want to hate her.
When the whole Walk of Shame scene.
Yeah, I started to feel bad. And I was like, no, she's a horrible person. Why am I feeling bad?
I don't think I felt bad, but I did think it was a bit needlessly.
It's over the top.
I just felt like it went on for far too long. It was a bit too uncomfortable, to be honest.
Shame. Speaking of Cersei, we've got her brother Dave.
Yeah, Jamie. I was actually going to sort of go on to the mountain, but I think we'll do him later anyway. Yeah. Right. So, with the guilt of letting Tyrion free, who then went on to murder his father, Jamie set sail for Dawn. Right. That sentence read much better when I wrote it down.
Considering I wrote this.
Yeah, well, when you wrote it. Anyway, so he set sail for Dawn, accompanied by everyone's favourite sellsword, Bronn, who I love Bronn.
Bron's the best.
Bron's
Yeah,
amazing.
to rescue Mycella from the Sand Snakes. When they arrive, they kill a few of the Martell's guards and attempt to rescue Mycella, but their plan is foiled by the Sand Snakes. Doran Martell, King of Dawn, is a man who just wants peace, despite the best efforts of his sister-in-law, and decides to let Jaime and Bronn return to King's Landing, accompanied by Mycella and his own son Tristan, who's a bit of a smug git. Oberon's vengeful other...
No, it's meant to say lover. There's a typo.
Yeah, okay, because that makes much more sense. It actually says over. So the way I got other. Right, Oberyn's vengeful lover, Elaria, Sand hates this and gives Mycella a poison kiss as she leaves to set sail for Westeros. On the way back, as Jaime reveals to her he is in fact her dad, the poison kicks in and Mycella dies in his arms. That scene was really sad.
It was, but do you know what? The second I saw a bit of happiness and that music started playing, I was like, somebody's going to die. So I'm starting to feel warm feelings. Someone's going to bite the dust.
Yeah. I'm going to say one thing about the Dawn storyline in season 5. It makes Bronn, in the books, he kind of fades into the background. He's just, after Tyrion leaves King's Landing, he's just like, he's not really part of it anymore. You just hear him referenced in like Cersei's schemes and.
You know what that is though, because the audience like the characters.
Yeah,
so
I think it completely is that.
But Cersei, like, he's part of her schemes, and he just like messes with her a little bit. You just like read things about how he's fucked her plans up, and it's quite funny.
The best, man.
But I love the fact that Bronn has now got more of a storyline. I love that
Bronn
part.
to get the Iron Throne.
But,
That would be funny.
like the Dawn storyline, the Sand Snakes are actually like the people from Dawn are actually really noble and really nice, and they're in the books. Their plan is like, okay, instead they're not planning to kill Mycella. They're planning to like crown her queen and like try and like take the throne away. Because they hate they're trying to make her queen, and like raise her up, and that goes completely wrong. The
king Doran, he's actually a good character. You could tell just from that, like one or two episodes he was in, that he just wants peace and he wants people to get along. But it's just the Sand Snakes that are trying to connive because they want revenge, don't they?
Even Oberyn was like, he said they don't kill little girls in Dawn and that as well. Like when they were in King's Landing.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's like the Sand Snakes. It's just their character. It's just completely different. It's just that's the one thing I think that the show has not done justice to from the books. Like that, the whole thing with Dawn. Like they're not as
the Sand Snakes were pretty pants, weren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to kind of remember that they're trying to cram as many so many characters and factions in that into a 10-episode series.
Yeah.
Right? So,
it's understandable, but. It's understandable. I mean, they've cut out like a huge chunk with the Ironborn. Like, there's a couple of Ironborn characters.
Oh, that's all coming this season, I think. There's been
it's definitely hinted at.
There's a new character as well, isn't there? I can't remember his name.
Is his name Victarion or is it Euron?
We just know he's a brother of Theon. I think that's.
Could it be one of his uncles?
Might
possibly. I think they've melded characters into one again.
If it's Victarion or Euron, like
it's Euron. It's Euron because it's meant to be the King's mute or something.
He's awesome. He's like, I'm not going to say anymore. He's just fucking awesome.
Right, let's move on to everyone's favourite halfling. So after being accused of killing his nephew and then murdering his dad, Tyrion went on a road trip with Varys. I can never pronounce that dude's name. Varys to try and reach Daenerys Targaryen. On a much-needed pit stop for tits and wine, Tyrion was kidnapped by one Jorah Mormont, who also wanted to take him to the Dragon Queen. After many adventures involving stone people, pirates, and the slave trade, Tyrion finally made it to Daenerys, who made him an advisor to her. After an attack by the Harpies, Tyrion was essentially put in charge of Meereen after Dany threw the nest on the back of Drogon. So, the only thing I wanted to see a bit more was, when they sort of went through Valyria on the boats. I just wish that went on for a bit longer.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
the sort of.
I wish they ventured around the area a bit. Even though there's the stonemen there, but we just sort of explored it a bit.
But I liked the sort of interactions between him and Jorah. I thought that was really sort of fun to watch on screen.
He plays well with everyone, Tyrion.
Can I speak a bit about about the books? How that was different?
You can do, yeah. Go for it.
There's a moment where Tyrion and another dwarf joust on pigs in the books, and they cut that from the TV show.
Oh wow!
Oh, what? What is it?
Why? Who makes these decisions?
I'm pretty sure the PC crowd would have had something to say about that.
Yeah, in the books, there's the pig jousters are at Joffrey's wedding, and then they make Tyrion and this woman duel on pigs, and that's how they pay their way. And then Tyrion manages to bribe and blackmail his way, and basically in the books he's just about to go find Daenerys, but there's already that massive battle with Meereen, and so she's already flown off, and they haven't caught up with her yet.
Here's a fun fact: the dwarfs at Joffrey's wedding, right? Because there was a few, weren't there?
Yeah.
One of them doesn't live far from me. My little brother knows him.
Really? Can we get one show?
Yeah.
If we get one, that'd be amazing.
Really cool.
My little brother's in Australia at the minute, but you never know. I'll have a word. But yeah. I kind of want to see pig jousting.
Yeah, I do too.
Dwarf.
I've got a funny feeling we're not, though. We're just going to see lots of politics and Tyrion getting, learning to rule.
I like the idea of Tyrion being put in charge of getting a bit of power behind him. And
he's honourable, isn't he? But he's smart.
He's just such a likeable character.
There's a really cool bit where he basically bribes this entire company of mercenaries. Like, they used to work for Daenerys and they left her, and he bribes them, like 10,000 men. He basically says, yeah, if you help me retake my homeland, I'll give you whatever you want. And the leader's like, I want 100,000 gold and I want to be made a lord. And he's like, yeah, if you help me do it, I'll do whatever you want. So he's like in control of this company because he's like, if you help me do it, I'll have the money to make it happen. And he's like, so he's now got in control of 10,000 men in the books.
See, that's why in a way he's better than Eddard Stark, because he's honourable, but he's not honourable to a fault.
He's not stupid.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's one of the cleverest out of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though all he wants to do is sit around getting drunk and playing with boobies,
like we all do.
The Tyrion way of life. He just sort of bumbles his way into different situations and then just makes the best of it. He's great. I cannot wait to see more Tyrion.
I want to know if there's going to be a trilogy of trial by combats. There's got to be, doesn't there?
Yeah, it must be.
There's got to be another.
Always
one.
Comes in threes, so
he's got to get arrested again.
So he's in charge of Meereen after Dany flew the nest. So let's move on to Daenerys. Emilia Clarke. This one's quite an essay as well.
Yeah, you wrote this one, so don't blame me.
Right. There's loads of big words in it that I'm not sure how to pronounce either. Like the whole,
I'll help you along.
I've got the document up in front of me, and it's just red lines under every fourth word. Right. So Daenerys was sat in the royal box at the Daznak pit when some of those pesky sons of the Harpy revealed themselves. Are you sure I wrote this?
Yeah.
I don't really use the word pesky.
That doesn't sound like a very
you
Dave
probably
word.
copy pasted.
We don't do that. We write all our own stuff.
It sounds like a Scooby-Doo villain. And those pesky kids.
So those pesky sons of the Harpy revealed themselves and began slaughtering everyone. Jorah and Dario evacuated Daenerys from the royal box whilst Tyrion rescues Missandei. Finding the exits blocked, the group makes a stand in the centre of the pit with the remainder of the unsullied defenders. Seeing they are hopelessly outnumbered, Daenerys takes Missandei's hand and closes her eyes, ready to face her death. At that moment, a draconic screech pierces the air and Drogon descends upon the arena.
This.
I think I did, yeah. I better stop reading it word for word then. I was getting tired at this point, right? Flying out, so that, breathing a big load of fire and he sort of starts trying to bite people and they're chucking spears at him. It was quite a cool scene, actually. So yeah, she climbs aboard
she's
him.
with the Dothraki again.
Well, we'll get to that, right? She climbs aboard his back and bids him to fly, which is Valad, if anyone cares, becoming the first Targaryen dragonwinder in over a century. So she finds herself away from Meereen atop an impressive hill in a sea of green grass, and Drogon couldn't give a shit.
He's knackered, mate.
He's worn out. He's got some wounds he wants to take care of. He's just thinking, nah, fucking, I'm just gonna sit here.
I want all the fucking chickens in here.
I was saying earlier about how George R. R. Martin tends to go into a lot of detail about stuff. Yeah. There's a scene at the end of the Dance of Dragons. Pretty much, in fact, Daenerys' story is pretty much where it is in the books. Like, Drogon's flown off and then she bumps into all the Dothraki, but she's lost for days and she's landed in a cave and she's able to scavenge for water and food and stuff, but she has no idea where Drogon's taken her, so she can't get back, which is why she's still there. And there's a very detailed scene of where she gets diarrhea. I'm not joking either. George R. R. Martin goes
This
into...
is exactly my point. When
he goes into great detail. And he also says, basically, because, after, like, that weird voodoo ritual where she loses her and Drogo's son, she's actually, it basically says out loud that she gets her period and she can have kids again, which is kind of like a big symbol, like a very symbolic thing in the books. But it also mentions that she gets diarrhea, and then all of a sudden she hears thundering of hooves, and that's when she bumps into all the Dothraki, and it's like, what? And then they're about to kill her, and Drogon just goes, and lands behind her, and they're all a bit like, what is going on? And that's when it ends.
I'm glad they cut that scene out.
Yeah, I was getting a bit bored with Dany's character and storyline, to be honest. By the end of season 5, I was kind of like, I'm sick of her sitting on her little throne making decisions and, I don't want to upset people, but
that's kind of the thing.
Nobody
like
likes me.
That's kind of a thing, though. Like, she's literally got the dragons. She could just take them to Westeros and just beat everyone because she has dragons.
Well, she can't because she's locked 2 up and they ate her.
Yeah,
and then the other one's knackered.
Then the other one's fucked.
Well, she could just take it. She could just lock them up, take them to Westeros, and just let them free and just do what they want.
Would they listen to her now? That's the thing.
Yeah,
she could have done it in the beginning, but now she's sort of been, taken up by the Dothraki Blood Riders. So, yeah.
There's a thing in the books where like that Quaith woman, the woman with the veil, keeps showing up and saying, "You've got to go south through the Shadowlands." Blah blah blah. The theory, one of the theories in the books is that her, Tyrion, and I think it's Jon Snow each become a dragon rider.
I don't think Jon Snow is going to be riding any dragons anytime soon.
No, but that's
Jon
one of the theories because
Targaryen
it says,
might, though.
yeah.
Because we get into theories later.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one of the big things. Because in the I mentioned the Ironborn earlier.
Yeah,
Theon's uncles, one of them, Euron. He's badass, but he's a bit evil. Like, he's more than a little evil.
Spoilers.
Yeah, he's and he basically says to Theon's other uncle, "I've heard of Daenerys, and she has dragons. I wish to make her my bride. Go make it happen." And sends a fleet. So there's a fleet of Ironborn on the way to help her out, and they've got like this horn with them. Whoever uses it dies, but it's said that if you use it around a dragon, you'll take control.
Mm.
And they're like, you got to work out a way to use it to take control of the dragons without getting yourself killed. So another theory is that yeah, that could work. Yes, I'm sure they imagine Tyrion will probably think of that one. But yeah, that's another thing that's happening. Like, yeah, there's so many moving parts going on at the end of Dance with Dragons. Like, it's hard to keep track.
So now she's like a prisoner of the Dothraki. Well, is she a prisoner? I guess she is, wasn't she?
I don't know. I've seen
she has a dragon
of her from season 6, and she does look like she's in sort of restraints. But that might just be the beginning part. She might be like a bit unwilling to go.
I think in the trailer I saw it looked like she got whipped because there was like this third trailer where they released like little, I think it was like 3 or 4 more clips. It looked like she got whipped by a Dothraki as well. So
next we have Brienne and Podrick.
Fucking Brienne.
Go on, Kev.
Fucking Brienne. We'll get into her later as well. But Brienne, accompanied by Podrick, still has her vow to save the Stark daughters as her number 1 priority, allegedly. She finds Sansa...
Why, though, when they don't want to know her?
I know, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'd be like, fine. No, fuck yeah. Come on, Podrick, let's go bar.
So she finds Sansa with Littlefinger and attempts to talk her into coming with them. However, Sansa isn't interested, and Baelish has his guards chase them away. Undeterred, she follows Sansa back to Winterfell. Brienne manages to get a message to Sansa that if she needs help to light a candle in one of the tower's windows. Brienne and Pod then set up camp and wait. Just as Sansa is about to signal for Brienne's help, Brienne notices Stannis' forces marching into battle against the army of the Boltons. With the opportunity to kill the man she vowed to kill after Renly's death, she leaves her post and heads off to complete her previous vow. She finds Stannis up against a tree, still alive, and becomes judge, jury, and executioner. Or does she?
Ooh.
I have things to say, but I'll wait.
Right, so we're going to go into theories and speculation later, so I don't want to go too much into the Stannis thing, so we'll talk about it in a bit. So let's just talk about these 2 characters for now.
With Brienne, like, I hated it, the fact that, that she said put a candle window and she'll go to Sansa's rescue. I hate the fact that when she left, that's when Sansa put the candle in the window to go kill.
This is, like, this is something I'm going to go into later, but Brienne is, like, the worst person ever. I'll go into more detail, but... Right, do you want me to do it now?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, you can't
So
just drop
she-
that.
So Brienne, she was Renly's bodyguard for like a day. He dies. She was then.
It was a shadow demon person. She can't. You're not really trained for that.
Right, fair enough. I'll give her the benefit of doubt. Then she was Lady Stark's bodyguard. And
For like
she
a
died.
day,
Where was she
wasn't
when
it?
she needed
No, but
that?
she sent her away though. didn't
She sent her
gave back to
away
King's
to
Landing.
take a prisoner and get her daughters back. She fell in love with the fucking prisoner. Like, okay. And then she goes for the daughters, and then she kills Arya Stark's surrogate father, who she pretty much followed round. And then she just left her. She just wandered off, even though I know she was looking for her, but she didn't look fucking very hard, did she? And then she went to save Sansa, and then the one moment she needed her, she thought, oh, fuck it, I'll go kill Stannis.
Exactly. Yeah.
She's like, everything she's vowed
She's
to
not
do.
the worst
she's not done.
person. She's just not very good at being a bodyguard.
Yeah, she needs a new profession. Can I use my book knowledge now?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
As long as there's not too many spoilers that's going to ruin the show going forward. isn't
No, it's not going to ruin the show because Brienne's story is completely different.
it? Right, okay, go on.
Because you know, Catelyn Stark in the books, she comes back as Lady Stoneheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's lost a voice because Forrest of Mer resurrects her and ends up losing the spark that's keeping him alive, and she leads his bandits, but they become really, really brutal after she takes over.
Right, okay.
Anyway, Brienne is like finds her and talks to her, but Lady Stark's like, you protected Jaime Lannister kind of stuff. It's like, you've betrayed me, and she's like, no, Jaime's changed. And then at the end, after she chases Arya and that, but doesn't get anywhere, she ends up coming across Lady Stark, and then the book, her story ends like Lady Stark's like going to execute her because she's found her, like she thinks she's betrayed her, and Jaime. The thing in his story ends where Cersei's like, I need you to come and fight for me in this trial by combat, and Jaime ignores her to go rescue Brienne because it's not like a love story, it's just a mutual respect for each other that they develop.
I don't know, they shared a naked jacuzzi.
Yeah, but Kev, we share a naked jacuzzi every Friday.
But in the thing, it's like, it's more respect, and it's like, because him, in the books, he goes around just like putting out the fires after the war, like he's like, you know, a peacekeeper. And then he abandons his duty, abandons all this respect he's burnt, and abandons his sister, who claims he'd be in love with, to go rescue Brienne.
I would like
and
to
that's
see
where her story is.
More Brienne and Jaime. Like, just I hope that continues later on. I hope there's some big scene later on where you know something happens and they're just like, "Oh, hello, mate." Give him
Brienne's a ninja assassin.
But I think that's why Brienne's story has kind of been like a bit all over the place because it's completely different, and I think they were just trying to put her where she can interact with other characters, and that's why, but without affecting the long-term story, so that's why she found Arya, then can rescue her because Arya had to go and do this other thing, and then she went to find Sansa, but they couldn't make her rescue Sansa because Sansa has more stuff to do. You know, I think they've just gone like that.
I still see them as more side characters than main characters, that's personally.
Yeah.
I do like Podrick, though. Bless him.
Yeah, Podrick's funny.
Podrick's the best.
I think Podrick will be the overall, he'll win. He'll be the king by the end of it. Well, I think Daenerys will win, but Podrick will use his exceptional love-making skills to woo her and become king.
Yeah.
That's why we all respect him, in all truth.
Yeah.
That's one of my favourite scenes from the whole series. Like, tell us exactly what you did. We need details.
And then they cut away, goddammit.
Right, last two now. Really quick ones because we didn't, there's not much to say. Stannis Baratheon. After plotting the murder of his brother Renly to get his hands on the throne, it was pretty clear Stannis would do anything. He then goes and sacrifices his only child Shireen at the insistence from the Red Priestess that would save his army, who had suffered a Bolton ambush that destroyed their supplies. That led to mass desertions and the suicide of his wife. Stannis was then killed outside Winterfell by Brienne of Tarth. So, yeah, or was he? Ooh, I'm not doing that again.
His story is such a massive anticlimax. It was such a bitch way to go out the way he did. Like, after all this build-up, it's like, I sort of think now that he might be a stepping stone for Melisandre.
The thing is, Stannis' character, like, he's quite severe, but he's really severe. Like, he's kind of like Ned Stark in that he sticks to his morals, but he's just more severe. He's less caring. Like, the reason he goes after Renly is because, he's the older brother. He should have been, like, when Robert took over, like, he gave Renly the Stormlands and Storm's End, and Stannis is the one who held it for 6 months in a siege to the point, like, what was it, I can't remember the pirate guy's name, he's the one who rescued him, like, smuggled him supplies, that's how they met, because he held Storm's End to the bitter end, and, like, tied up that a massive part of the army during the rebellion. And then Renly, when he forms his rebellion, all the Stormlords join him, and he's like, well, they should have been my men. I'm the older brother. I've got more of a claim than you have. Which is kind of true. Like, if Joffrey was illegitimate, it should have been Renly. It should have been Stannis next, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where so Renly was kind of a usurper, and that's how he viewed him. And in the books, like, he doesn't kill Shireen at all.
Yeah, I've heard
like
that.
The way his story Shireen is completely fine. Like, none of that happens. Like, he's actually quite a decent guy in the books. Like, he's one of the few people. Like, he's the person who worked out, hey, Joffrey's illegitimate and inbred, and he's the one who tells Jon Arryn, who tells Ned Stark. He's the one who starts it all. He's the one who like works out that what's going on. And like then he kind of like says to Jon, he's the one. Tries to convince Jon Snow to help him, and Jon Snow says, no, I'm staying with the Night's Watch. Anyway, he marches south, and he gets blindsided by, like, the Boltons, and that's when the battle happens, and that's the last part you see of him. Like, there's nothing, because winter's already hit. Mm-hmm. They're caught in a snowstorm, and the Boltons jump on them when they get a chance, and that's the last part, and, like, there's nothing about him, like, sacrificing Shireen or anything like that.
That scene where he does have her burnt at the stake was
it was horrible.
It was the way his character changed, and he just become this sort of
considering he was so loving to her before, wasn't he? In all the previous scenes.
Well, he's always been sort of like trying.
It was a role reversal, wasn't it, with his wife? Because his wife was always cold towards her.
That's what I'm saying. She was always mean towards her. Then when she was dying, she was actually like, no,
the one who cared.
Stop it. Yeah. So it was actually that bit was annoying.
It was just a very difficult scene to watch, sort of Stannis, and the desperation he's gone to compared to like 2 seasons ago, where I legitimately saw him with a chance to.
That's the thing. Everybody, they like even me. I liked Stannis. I thought he was a really honourable character and a really good character. And the second he did that to his daughter, it was sort of like a kick in the nuts. It was
and then all his men deserted him, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'd fucking desert you too, you fucking dick.
It's like we've had this big build up, and then it's just he does this despicable act, and it's like, well, I can't root for you anymore now.
Yeah,
well, it's like
ruined it.
I started to like get annoyed with him with like Gendry as well, because that was like his nephew. He was gonna like he used his blood for what?
Well, he changed it. Well, Davos made him change his mind, didn't he?
Yeah, true. That's what I'm saying. And then like obviously Gendry went off. You don't know what's happened to him as well. So
it's another storyline we need to catch up on.
Let's wrap this final bit up and move on to the more interesting parts, because this has gone on a bit longer than I thought it was going to be honest. Mm-hmm. The final character, although we didn't see him at all in season 5, the final character I thought we'd catch up on was Bran Stark. Probably my least favourite, to be honest. He's just a bit boring. So after coming...
He's the Professor X of Game of Thrones. He can't walk.
He is the Professor X of Game of Thrones. After coming close to the wall, Osha departs Rick and... I'm not going to read all that. It's too much. So basically, it gets a bit closer to Jon Snow at Crassus Keep, didn't they? Where they were captured and held hostage.
Mm-hmm.
And then sort of escaped and then headed off into the woods with these other 2 characters. I can't remember. What was their name? Jojen and what? Jojen and...
Jojen and Mira Reed.
Yeah, who... it was all a bit of a strange storyline, I thought. And they led him into some cave where they find the 3-eyed raven. And that was literally the last we saw of him. Says he cannot restore Bran's legs, but will make him fly instead, metaphorically. So yeah,
or literally on a dragon. But
yeah, true.
That's a very good point. I didn't think of that. But yeah, so the bit where Bran walks into Hodor and kills Locke by snapping his neck was probably the highlight of Bran's entire storyline.
But to be fair, like Rob said to me, because he's such a powerful walk, could he walk into a dragon?
I think that's a possibility. Yeah,
because he's meant to be the most powerful walk. Because obviously he can walk into a human. No one's ever done that before. So
it's Hodor, though. Does he really count?
Yeah, true.
You need to go on a bloody, mental health awareness course. That's a horrible thing to say. You should feel ashamed.
No, I love Hodor. Like, I think he's going to be the hero. But
he's still a human. He still has rights. He still should.
I'm not saying he doesn't have rights. I'm just saying he's not that. He doesn't appear to be that intelligent. He's scared of thunder. I mean,
yeah. So am I.
He's really strong though.
Yeah,
mega strong.
He's hench.
He's also the actor who plays him is also a DJ.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Now, if you don't want to have any sort of spoilers, or we're only guessing the majority of this. No. Up until season sort of 5, you're good. But we're going to start talking season 6 and start talking about theories.
These are just theories.
Yeah, theories and things we've seen in trailers and things like that. So they're not technically spoilers, but yeah, I think we may spoil some things. Luke will probably talk a bit about the book, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
So switch off now. No, don't really. Just stick with us. I was joking. Don't switch off. So let's move on. So what we know, some theories, predictions, and guesses.
I'm going to jump out. I'm going to go off the deep end with something that's 99.9% not going to be true, but I want to put it out there. Jon Snow is a Cylon. Thing out there.
That's a Battlestar Galactica reference. I like it.
Because Battlestar Galactica takes place in the distant past. And, with the Westeros' weird orbit, it's entirely possible. Cylons.
Right.
All these legends of dragons could be ships.
I like crossovers, but I might rage quit on that one.
Yeah. Okay, so though you are picked up, the most popular thing to discuss at the minute is Jon Snow really dead? Now, since his death aired, the show's creator and Harrington have continuously asserted that Jon is finished, but no one believes it, really, do they?
I've got one. There's one reason why I think he's alive, and I've said it before. When
he's dead, but if he comes back alive,
he'll be alive but different. If you know what I mean, it's because George R. R. Martin, when a character is dead, he does not leave it up. He does not second guess it. He'll leave him if it's a cliffhanger. Chances are.
It wasn't. I mean, if it turns out he is dead and they moved on, he was stabbed, God knows how many times, and bled.
There's so many open storylines.
Well, let's put this. What was it? Oberyn Martell, when he dies, he has his head crushed in.
Yeah,
that's it. There's a character in the books who tries to tame one of Daenerys' dragons. He's not in the show. He gets blown away by dragonfire. And it describes in vivid detail his agonising death, how his eyes melted away and the sockets filled with pus. He does not skip on the details, George R. R. Martin, when people die.
This is the show's creators. They can't be having people's eyes explode in his head. But when Tywin was shot, that was less.
Yeah, but you did see the funeral, so it was confirmed.
Yeah, but he dies at the end, and we've seen. Anyway, I'm only arguing to be the person. I don't think he's gone.
No, but what I mean is, in the book, he's not. It ends with him being stabbed, and that's it. That's how the book ends before the prologue or before the epilogue. And I'm just saying, because of how he does it, when characters die, it's not left up to it's not left ambiguous in the books ever. I think that's why he's alive.
In the book, he does actually walk into a ghost, doesn't he? He says he says ghost or something when he literally dies or something.
I think something like that.
Yeah.
It has been about a year
since I don't think they're going to do that storyline with Jon, though. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a warg. I think Bran's going to be the only warg in the family.
Well, all the Starks are wargs to a certain extent.
In the book, I think they're trying to create their own thing. While they're taking the storylines, I think they're trying to do their own stories for the characters. And Arya, I don't think she'll be a warg. I think she's going to be some sort of super ninja assassin.
Ninja assassin. You heard it here first.
I think she's going to be like Daredevil.
So, Rob, do you have a theory on Jon Snow, or?
Not really. I just think he's going to get brought back by Melisandre, really. What she does, I don't know, but I just think that she'll do something like mate with his corpse or something. I don't know. There's been some suggestions that when she takes off her robes in that trailer, people have been saying that she's going to sleep with his dead body, but I hope not. But
it wouldn't surprise me.
Necrophilia. Everything else has been in there.
We have seen a different Red Priest, Thoros of Myr, raising the Lord Beric Dondarrion. Remember? I think that was season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Raising him back to life. So we already know
I actually
that...
have a theory about with Jon Snow. Thing is, did you see that trailer where they show the banners flying?
Yeah.
And with the Stark one, they did 2 bolts of lightning in the background. And Luke will probably know from reading the first book that when it describes Beric Dondarrion's sigil, it's 2 bolts of lightning with stars or something. So I don't know if they put that in there as a hint that he will be resurrected. I don't know, but
I think so, because in books, as I said, Lady Stoneheart's Caitlin Stark, she's resurrected when Beric Dondarrion finds her body, and he's Thoros of Myr is she's been dead for too long, I can't resurrect her, and he's we've got to try. He brings her back, but in the books he's basically Wolverine. No matter what's done to him, he's got the Hound cuts him in half. He comes back. He gets an arrow through the head. He comes back. He just keeps being resurrected.
So is it T-1000? He sort of melts and then goes back.
Yeah, he just doesn't die, and then he breathes and then he brings back Caitlin. But in doing so, he does actually die. Whatever was keeping him alive, he brings her back. So if Lady Stoneheart isn't in the show, Beric Dondarrion is probably still about, and Thoris Mare is as well. So I'm like, even Melisandre even says she comes across. Like, I think no, it's in the TV show. They don't meet in the book, but she says, "I don't. How did you acquire this power?" He's like, "I have no idea." And the suggestion is it's because the dragons are back that he's got all this power.
Or the Red Comet.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
But
interestingly, the synopsis of the first episode is, which is titled "The Red Woman." The synopsis says, the mystical Melisandre, who was left at Castle Black along with Jon Snow's corpse as Season 5 closed, in no way dominates the action, but by the hour's end, with a lurid surprising twist, sets the scene for some powerful sorcery to come. Now that's,
That's hinting quite heavily.
Exactly.
But then maybe that's just them playing into the whole "is he, isn't he dead" sort of thing. So I hope not. Now, like, he's Kit Harington has often said in different interviews and that I've listened to or watched, how much he hates having the long hair, and that he would cut it off as soon as he was done with. Still got the long hair.
Yep.
And he's also been seen on the set, which is a bit of a giveaway too. But that could be.
Well, he said he was just filming dead body scenes.
Yeah.
But he was in Ireland, weren't he? When they were filming.
But there's
other
also the
parts.
fact that could be like they could just be playing the game. They could just be doing that just to get people.
I would be so gutted if he's dead after all this.
I would as well. I completely agree. But I would kind of give it. I would like a fair play to them that they've kept these rumours going just to throw us a red herring, isn't it? The Red Woman is a red herring.
I think the fact that there's probably a Tower of Joy flashback. I really think Jon Snow. Jon Snow might be dead, but he's going to be resurrected in some way or form.
Speaking of that, Rob, tell him about your little theory.
Well,
just as quick as you can.
Yeah, Luke will know about this because he's obviously read the book. But in the Tower of Joy scene in the book, it's Eddard and I think his name's Howland Reed, the last two that like to leave the thing. And there's like theories people are saying that apparently that when Ned's sister is in the bed light of red like blood, apparently she has twins or something, and that Howland Reed takes one, which is Mira Reed. And John is obviously gone with Ned, so people are saying that them two might be twins or something.
And if you think about their hair was the same, that dark black locks.
Because in the books as well, I think they're meant to be around the same age, but it's not actually confirmed. But I'm not 100% sure.
I've not heard that theory. I've heard the whole Rhaegar is Jon's dad theory, but I haven't heard the twin.
Well, we
one.
can move on to that one now. What's sticking with Jon Snow? Are we going to learn the truth of Jon Snow's parentage?
Yes.
I would be really shocked if they let him die and we didn't know. They didn't.
Well, they've showed in the trailer. We've seen that they're going to show the actual flashback, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which good.
And the best thing I'm looking forward to most is like the books. They reference how the old Kingsguard, like Sir Barristan, like he's super. He doesn't die in the books. He's like the one left. He's like the one left in charge of Marine. Like he's leading the defense at the end of the battle. He's badass. No one can take him down. That's his generation of Kingsguard. Like Jaime Lannister basically says, they were amazing. Like no one alive now could touch them. So that's going to be an amazing fight scene because these Kingsguard, there's 3 of them and they face down 7 guys, and they're only just able to
survive.
Yeah, and that's
like Eddard, who's meant to be a brilliant swordsman himself.
Yeah.
Well, there's one of the Kingsguards meant to be someone called Arthur Dane as well. He's meant to have this sword called. Something from a meteor or something. I can't remember what it's called, but I don't know if they're going to bring that into the show or not. So.
But he's meant to be, like Jamie says, he could beat you one-handed while trying to take a piss. Like that's a phrase he uses in the book. Like when Loras is like, he's lost a hand, Jamie's lost a hand, and Loras is actually like Tyrell was being all big-headed. Jamie says like, don't think you're the best. So Arthur Dane could have killed you one-handed while trying to take a piss.
There is a similar conversation in the show, though, isn't there? I'm sure there is.
Yeah, but
I can't remember.
I'm really looking forward to the Tower of Joy flashback.
Well, we all know. I'm sure it's quite. It's one of the most popular theories is that Jon is a Targaryen.
Yeah. Do you know there's another theory that says Tyrion is a Targaryen?
Yeah, I've heard of that one as well.
Oh no, I haven't actually. What's that one?
The theory is that the reason, apparently, was it Rhaegar's dad? Well, apparently, because he's a bit mad. Apparently, he was also a bit
Rhaegar,
rapey.
A little bit.
No, not Rhaegar. Rhaegar's dad. I think it's. I can't remember his name.
Oh, right, okay.
He was the Mad King. The Mad King. But anyway, basically he was a little bit rapey as well. Apparently he raped
A
Tyrion's
little
mother.
bit rapey.
You can't be a little bit. You either full bit.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the hint. Anyway,
He's alright, he's just a little bit rapey.
Well, this is politically correct. No, basically, and this is why Tywin hates him and sides against him, because he raped his wife. She had Tyrion and died in childbirth, and Tyrion is a secret Targaryen.
Yeah, but why would he not just stab the baby?
Because Tywin's smart, and I think he thinks long term. I think he I don't think he wants
she probably
anyone
made
to.
him promise, because it's always made clear that he absolutely loved his wife. So maybe she made him promise that she'll look after him.
And also, I don't think he could deal with I don't think he would want his children's legitimate, Jaime and Cersei's legitimacy called into question if it became knowledge. So I think he hides it because of that.
It's probably irrelevant as well, but Tyrion has a fascination with dragons as well. Probably nothing to do with it.
Yeah, but to be fucking honest, I would as well.
Well, no, it's meant to do something with dreams, isn't it? Like all the Targaryens are meant to dream about dragons, and Tyrion's the only person who also is meant to dream about dragons in the books.
Yeah.
Well, as well, Jon Snow has dreams about going down into the crypts as well, which I've read in book 1.
All right, okay.
I just hope that, regardless of whether Jon Snow's alive or not, we do finally work out who his mother is, because there's definitely foreshadowing, and to leave that unresolved, I'd fucking go nuts.
That conversation on the horse between Ed and Jon, just as they split up and see each other for the last time, and it never to be resolved.
The next time we see each other, we'll talk about your mother, I promise. Yeah.
I really think the theory that George R. R. Martin has already confirmed that one of the biggest fan theories is correct. I wouldn't be surprised though.
L equals J. It's got to be that one.
Yeah, I really think he might just be fucking with us. I think there could be I think it could all be just a giant red herring. He's maybe done it deliberately to make us all think this, and it's going to be a huge twist. Yeah, but
didn't the producers of the show guess who his parents were? So surely they had the same knowledge we do.
Well, no, apparently they were told specifically how it goes down, so they could plan it out in advance. George R. R. Martin met with them to begin with and said, "This is how it's going to happen."
If Rhaegar is not his father, and it turns out to be some other
What if the Red Woman?
If that's not the case, I was thinking, hang on a minute, how could Rhaegar and Ned have a son? But
it's Melisandre. She's his mum.
If it's not Lyanna and Rhaegar's son, if Jon Snow's not, then I'm actually going to be really disappointed, because I've had that in my mind for so long that's the case. That if it's not,
just all the evidence points there. So
yeah,
it does, and I think it is likely, but I wouldn't put it past him, George R. R. Martin, just to do it intentionally, just to mess with people, because the reason he's lived so long is he feeds off the sadness of everyone from reading his books. That's how he's alive. That's how he's still alive. That's why he causes so much sadness and pain. He feeds off it and he grows stronger.
Slightly off topic. Has anyone seen Z Nation?
No.
I was watching that the other day, and it's about zombies. And
it's on Netflix, isn't it?
I can't remember what I watched on actually. Anyway, when he comes, they come across some bloke who calls himself the Collector, and he's collected all these sort of nerdy memorabilia from the old world. And then he goes, in the back room I've got my prized possession. And he opens the door, and there's a zombie George R. R. Martin sat there signing. And he's the muscle memory of signing novels in his head so much. And he's just scribbling on these Game of Thrones books. It's just I don't know why I thought of that. I forgot all about it.
That's pretty cool, actually.
It's not a bad show, actually. You should check it out.
Anyway,
moving on, yes. An interesting theory I've heard, and it, would definitely tie in, is now that the Dothraki have taken Daenerys as either a prisoner or willingly. I guess you would be willingly if you're in the middle of fucking nowhere, aren't you? And they're taking her back to the capital of Vaes Dothrak for some unknown purpose. Well, in series 1, Daenerys met a group of women called the Dosh Khaleen, who foresaw that her unborn child would be a great conqueror long foretold in their religion.
Stallion who mounts the world.
That prophecy ended up being a load of doff crappy.
See what you did there, Dave.
I'm really proud of that. I paused to let everyone at home laugh. Anyway.
All grown.
Everyone, please comment on how much you didn't laugh at that terrible joke.
The Dosh Khaleen are traditionally made up of widowed Khaleesi, just like Daenerys, taken after the death of their Khal husbands and put to work as the high priestesses and seers for the Dothraki religion. When Daenerys' husband Khal Drogo died, by all rights she should have taken up the same position, on pain of death if she refused according to the books, but instead she headed off to conquer new lands. So maybe that's why they've turned up to be like, take her back. How they knew she was there, I don't know, but...
I think it was chance. I don't think they intentionally, because she's at, like, Drogon flew in a random direction, like, she didn't know where she was going. I think they just come across her,
But how did
like,
they
by
know
chance.
who she was?
Yeah, and then, like, I think that she's going to end up, like, recruiting them and saving Marine, because, let's face it, that she may not have followed their ways, but she has a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be a little bit impressed.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But I think that'd be a cool throwback to the first series, though. I mean, like, they may not have been, like, specifically looking for her, but if you came across her, you'd be like, hang on a minute, is that fucking bird that done a runner? When she was supposed to be, up in that church, washing people's feet and shit.
To be honest, it would be good to see the Dothraki again. I think we got shafted a bit with the Dothraki, where we didn't get to see them to fight, because they were made out to be these fierce warriors, and then it just all sort of fell apart, and we didn't get to see them in battle. So I'm hoping eventually, like, she does become the leader again.
I was disappointed when Khal Drogo died from a scratch.
Yeah,
I was as well.
Yeah, he was this big, powerful man. He was like, have a little scratchy dead man.
It's a little bit different in the books. Like, he actually has like a huge chunk of his chest caved off, like his nipples removed, and it's got a massive gash. He actually, not his nipple, but he described how it was hanging from his body and how
his saucer-shaped nipple dragged across the floor as he crawled in pain.
No, not quite, but
like a bloody Malteser lying in
it was just like he had like literally his nipple had been like completely torn off his chest, and he had like a massive scar. And it was actually, while he was like, he was Khal Drogo, he was just stood there giving orders because he's Khal fucking Drogo. But it is actually a wound that would get infected if not treated properly, and it's not, because they're the Dothraki.
We are thinking that, let's be honest, this is technically like the old, what's it called? The Dark Ages kind of sort of thing. Their medicine's probably not as good as ours. Oh no, that bollocks actually, because they bring people back from the dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that, Dave. Need a couple of paddles and a bit of electricity, but it's possible.
That's a very good point.
Well, what was it? One of the Meisters who tries to treat Jaime, he's like, yeah, I'll boil your stump in wine to purify it. It's like you're boiling his arm in wine to try and cleanse it. What?
At least it would taste good.
This is like a weird meaty ice lolly.
Tyrion was like that.
Okay, speaking of Tyrion, this is not really a theory. This is clearly what's happening. Tyrion's his reign over in Meereen doesn't look like it's going too well. Because in one of the trailers, do you like games, little man? Was from what looks like the
Harpy leaders.
Yeah. So they're still in business.
All we're going to see of Tyrion this season, I think it's all going to be ruling. Like him, and because Varys is with him at the moment as well, isn't it? And I think it's going to sort of plant seeds of him eventually being a ruler in King's Landing, because I think that's what might happen towards the end. I think he might be the one that ends up on the throne.
Well, he's in books. I don't know if he's in the show. There's a guy, a Dothraki man, not a Dothraki man, Meereenese guy that Daenerys marries to try and restore order.
Yeah,
Does that
he's died, but he got killed.
He's dead. Okay, in the books,
You got
I think
fucked up.
in the books it's kind of strongly hinted, but never confirmed, that he is the Harpy. Like he's the lead guy.
Right, okay.
And that he there's a character called Strong Belwas, like in the books. Like he's awesome. Like there's that knight who charges outside Meereen that they challenge, and I think it's the Dahario that kills him. Strong Belwas is the one that does it. He's like this massively fat but really powerfully built guy. Anyway, there's all this food in the arena, and like he's just chowing down on all this food. He's like shoveling it in. He's a really big guy, and he ends up throwing up and getting sick from it, to the point when he returns, he's described as being really anorexic and weak. Like, the only reason he survives this poisoning is because he was so fat. That's basically how it's suggested. And then, like, they say it was planted there to kill Daenerys by this guy. And so I'm guessing if he's dead, he's probably not the Harpy, but it's suggested that he is.
Well, he might not be dead.
Yeah. But it suggested he is the Harpy and that he set it all up to rule Marine.
Yeah, didn't we see him die?
Well,
I
don't.
think we did, didn't we?
Yeah, he got stabbed.
Yeah, I don't know, but he might not be dead. They might have done something.
Oh, he's dead.
So, like, you know,
he was stabbed by a harpy in the back. It came out.
This isn't Dragon Ball. If not everyone comes back from the dead here.
I'm not happy until the head's off.
I would call bullshit on that simply because that character would not like that. Nothing against the actor, but he just would not come across as this evil. You know.
No, he was a snivelling.
Yeah, he was a bit. I think mainly because the actor is. I can't remember what I've seen him in, but whatever I saw him in before, he's was
in Plebs, I think you saw him in.
He's in what?
He's in this program called Plebs, I think.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of. And in that, it's so silly and you know that I couldn't take him seriously in Game of Thrones. So if it turned out that he was the head of the Harpies, but no, I'm pretty sure he's dead, and I don't think he is personally. Anyway, sticking with the trailers. It looks like former Hunter Stannis has teamed up with Jon's direwolf ghost and a couple of loyal Night's Watchmen to protect Jon's body from his former brothers. But could that be to help keep Jon intact for Melisandre to resurrect him? And also, rumour has it Davos might be teaming up with a Stark. Pictures from the trailers seem to indicate that Davos will meet Sansa Stark and then lead a sort of rebellion against the Boltons. What do we reckon to that? Likely?
Well, it's obvious now that Davos wins that fight when he's protecting his body, doesn't it? Because we've seen scenes of him later on leading an army, so we know the outcome of what happens there.
Well, in one of the trailers, it looks like a giant smashes through some big gates, and they look like what's that? The Night Watch castle called? I can't remember.
Castle Black.
Castle Black. Yeah, it looks like he breaks through the Castle Black door. So I think he might be helping Davos get like Jon Snow's body out.
Yeah, possibly.
But we see Davos standing over a battlefield littered with Bolton victims, while the wolf crest of House Stark flutters behind him. So, I think Sansa and Davos have teamed up because they've both got beef with the Boltons. There may be
someone else there as well on a horse, because there have been images where a certain Jon Snow. Where it looks like Jon Snow is on a horse.
I've seen this
in the background.
I don't know. Would they put Jon Snow in their trailer even if it is slightly obscure?
Maybe it was a mishap. Maybe because it is in the background. Maybe they didn't realise and it slipped through the net.
Come on.
Or maybe they're doing it just to mess with people.
Yeah.
Well, there is that clip as well where you see all them like horses charging towards the camera, but you only see like the chest bit of the horse when they're coming. You don't know who's on the horses either. There's about 5 of them, I think.
Yeah.
But in the books, like Davos, the way it works is there's like this guy, one of the Lords of the North. He's the head of White Harbour, which is like the North's version of Kingsport or Lannisport. You know, it's where they get all their money from, basically. And he says to Davos, he says, "I'll support you in like fighting against the Boltons, but we need a Stark. We can't do it without one of the Starks." So he sends Davos off to Skagos, which is an island off the north, because that's where Rickon and Osha have fled to.
Right.
Because so I think possibly that's how they come back into it.
Oh, I think it's the 2 younger brothers.
I think I don't. No, not just Rickon, not Bran's younger brother. I think Davos. Part of it could be that he goes to find them, and that's how he gets Sansa involved. Because maybe he goes to they go to find Sansa or something. But I think that could be part of it. Yeah, or possibly like they start the rebellion, go to the guy in White Harbour and say join us, and he says not until you go get Rickon Stark back. Or something like that. I think that's how it could. I think that could go down like that. Because you got to remember, as soon as the Lannisters and like the Tyrells get wind of like a rebellion in the north, like maybe the Boltons might lose, they're just going to send an army up there to crush them.
Well, I think we're pretty sure you do because we've seen shots in the trailers as well of Lannister tents, battle tents, and like Jaime riding through them. So,
but that could be them. That could be them going after River Run. Because the Blackfish escapes the Red Wedding.
Oh, that's very
And in the
true,
books, he does like, there's a big thing with Jaime. Like, I think the Dornish plot was, like, to keep him busy for a season, if I'm honest. Just because, like, they needed it to line up with other stuff. And I think that could be him, like, sieging River Run and saying, we've got, like, the surviving heir of, like, the Tullys, blah, 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 and that kind of stuff. And I think that could be the siege of River Run.
So what's going to go on with Dorne? Because surely he wants revenge against Dorne now after what the Sun Snakes did to his daughter.
that's another theory. I think Jaime could be leading an army against Dawn. It's in the books. What was it? The leader. I can't remember his name. There's so many names I can't remember.
I have to write it all down.
He's got like the way in the books he's described as the long. Oberyn Martell's described as the Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's described as the long grass for the Viper to hide in. Like he's like really patient.
All right.
Like he plays the super long game. And basically his plan is he's sent one of his sons to Daenerys. It's not in the TV show to marry her, to bring her dragons over. But basically he's got a plan in motion for the Dornish army. Like he's planning to go fight against the Lannisters. But basically if they found dragons, they're going to go on the march. And if they haven't, they're going to go on the defensive and just draw them into Dawn and like make them in a war of attrition.
Oh, okay.
So I think it could be I think the Lannister tents could be the Siege of Riverrun, or them marching against Dawn.
So it could
a lot of people
yeah.
do think it's the Riverrun siege.
Yeah, that it is a very cool part of the book, and it's a major thing for Jaime because he learns to solve conflict without killing people.
That'd be nice. Right, I think we should probably think about wrapping it up as it's an hour and a half now, which is quite long. But we could probably carry on for
another hour.
So. Before we go, I've actually got 2 theories sent in from, I would say listeners. They're just from our other podcasts. They're both really shit. But I'm going to read them out anyway. Adam Thomas, host of Out of the Crossfire. Listen to that if you like PlayStation and boring people. His Game of Thrones theory is Stannis is alive. Brienne didn't kill him as suggested in the season finale. Well done for originality there, Adam. Thank you for that.
I think everyone picked up on that one.
And the other prediction comes from Jimmy Martin, also from Out of the X-Fire, I believe, podcast. Yes. Yeah. Robb Stark's mummy will come back for vengeance and Bran will regain the use of his legs.
No.
No on the legs. Very possibly on Catelyn Stark.
A mummy, though? What, wrapped in bandages?
Yeah.
No, but
a legitimate mummy.
I do think Lady Stoneheart could come back because she plays a part in Jaime and Brienne's storyline. And I think you mentioned like Beric Dondarrion's banner, like it could be revealed, hey, he did resurrect her, and she's just been in hiding this entire time. So that could be a surprise.
I think it would be a bit because in terms of how TV shows work, like away from the whole Game of Thrones storyline. The actress would have to like not take any roles, and it'd be hard to keep someone on the contract and then not appear in a TV show for.
You got to remember as well, isn't there only 8 seasons to this, and we're on the 6th? There's no way they're going to fit the whole Lady Stoneheart thing into it as well. They've got to battle the White shit. We've not even talked about those.
Apparently, I think they said they were going to sort of submerge like the Lady Stoneheart into Sansa's character. So, like, obviously,
possibly,
they've done it with a lot of characters, so that wouldn't surprise me.
We'll save our White Walker talk for next week, I think, because if we try and talk White Walkers now, we'll be here all fucking night.
Yep.
So before we go, let's just guess who's going to die next. Let's have a Deadpool for the series. Who's going to be the first to die?
Are we talking major characters?
Who do you? You can't just say a Bolton fighter.
It's got to be a named character.
You've got a named character that dies next.
It has to be someone relevant to the plot. Okay.
I've got mine. Do you want me to do mine first?
Yeah, go. You go first.
Mine's Walder Frey. I think
as the first death in the series.
Yes, because they've made a point of showing him again in the trailer, whereas he's not been anywhere before. So I think they're just going to bring him back to be killed.
But
so that's a strategic guess.
On the flip side of that, Walder Frey was like one of his sons was made the Lord of Riverrun or something like that. So it could be if they are doing a Siege of Riverrun that he comes back in relation to that. Because the thing is with the bad guys, like it's Game of Thrones. There's no good guys. There's just shades of being a bastard. Really, there's no one really
Jon
good.
Snow, come on now, you know nothing.
No. Okay, but I think Walder Frey, like I think he's done such evil stuff. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's enough just to have him die. I think his demise has to be really drawn out and nasty.
Oh yeah, they couldn't just poison him.
He is the one that really screwed over the North. He is the one that stabbed them all in the back. He because the whole guest right thing, he invited them to the house, gave them safety, and then betrayed them. That's a huge
thing.
thing.
Is, all the deaths always come in like episode 9, all the good ones. So I think that's when we'll get the death of him, and I think he'll be the first to go.
There's going to be surely there's going to be, right. What about you?
Not
Robert?
a major death.
I think Theon Greyjoy is going to die because he's sort of reached his story. No, he's reached his story sort of arc though. So like he's redeemed himself by helping Sansa. So like I don't see where his character's going to go now because he's helping Sansa. So.
But we're going to start seeing more of Theon's family in this series. I think.
That's what I mean as well though, because they brought in Euron. Like I don't think there's much need for Theon now. So.
Plus he hasn't got penis, so what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah. So
the Greyjoys do start kicking some serious ass. Like they start sailing up the rivers inland and start burning and pillaging, and everyone's like, "What do we do? How do we stop them?" Because they're like, they haven't been like this for years, and they start.
Well, maybe they get angry because Theon's got his head lopped off.
Yeah.
His uncles don't give a shit about Theon. No one cares about Theon. In the books or on a TV show, no one cares about Theon.
That's why he's going to die.
So what about you, Dave? What's your pick?
Mine's more out of just wishful thinking. I want Sir Alicent to die.
Oh, that's a good point.
I want in that opening fight. I want in that opening fight between Davos. I don't know if Davos will kill him, but I want him to. I want him to just.
I think you
literally
just want it.
Stab that fucking dick in the face.
Can I change my mind?
No.
Damn it.
So that's my first guess. I mean, I'm not saying my guess isn't that Davos will kill him. My guess is that he's going to die. So I still win if someone else kills him. Yeah, but that's the way I want him to die.
What if we don't see him die? What if it's left ambiguous, like Stannis? Does that count?
Yeah, of course.
What about you, Luke? Who you got?
I'm gonna go in a different direction. I think it might be Jorah.
Oh
shit! Yeah, he's got fucking
because Jorah's whole
stone
thing
disease.
Yeah, but I think it could be that I don't know when because if we're talking like first major he's a major character, I'd say, and he's kind of been on a path of redemption, and I think he's got the stone disease, and he's taken that over from it was another character who's not in the show yet who gets that. And I think it's going to be a case of he's in the friend zone with Daenerys. I think he's just going to be like she's going to come back. And he's going to go out of his way to save her, and I think it's going to be his death could be trying to redeem himself, or possibly he sacrificed himself to save Dario from the Harpies or something, because he knows Daenerys loves him, so he's like, fuck it, and he just does it to try and he does it to redeem himself. I think he could be the first death of a character we've been with from the beginning.
So who we got here? So we got Walder Frey, Sir Alicent, Jorah Mormont, and who's the other one? Theon Greyjoy. So if you're listening to this, let us know which one you think. You can tweet to us at Out of Lives Pod on Twitter.
Or email us at
podcast@outoflives.
Damn it, fuck me, man. Which is currently down because we're switching domain, but we'll be up, hopefully, and running next week. So if you do email it and we don't get it, then,
You do realise this is Game of Thrones, we could all be right at the same time?
I know.
It could just be a montage of people dying.
Send in who you think will die. Send in your theories. We want to read them.
Tell me why
really
I'm right.
interesting. Yeah. Let's do plugs and go. Kev, where can we find you?
Just find me on Twitter at Don't Shoot Tiny. You can also find me on the Out of Lives podcast if you like movies and games. And you'll find that on SoundCloud and iTunes.
And Luke?
You can find me somewhere, I'm sure.
Sat I'm in the corner reading the book.
I'm sure I'm online somewhere.
You don't tweet, do you?
I don't.
I've never got it. I've never got Twitter. I can never.
Was it someone once described to me Twitter as a means of legitimately stalking celebrities?
Which is why you should follow me at Twitter at Captain News. Or you can also listen to me on the Out of Lives podcast. And to check out our website, outoflives.net, which is getting a nice new redesign this week. And we'll be looking cool as fuck next week. So yeah, check that out. And Rob?
Yeah, you can catch me at Twitter at pucker_pie.
Fucking now. Pucker pie.
That's amazing.
Anyway, I've really enjoyed today. It's been really good.
It's been a good conversation. And also next week, make sure you tune in because we will be discussing the first episode.
We haven't quite worked out what day we're releasing, but stick with us next week. We'll have a much more scheduled release period, but we can
confirm one thing: it will be out before the next book.
Yeah, we won't George R. R. Martin that shit. Okay, anyway, that's it. Good night. Bye.
Valama Gules.
May the odds be forever in your favour.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Out of love.
Targaryens are gone. Not all of them. Burn them all.
Everyone who isn't us is an enemy.
Your mother was a dumb whore with a fat ass. Did you know that?
There is no word for thank you in Dothraki.
Lannister,
Fire cannot kill the dragon.
we plead for a reprieve. Lannister always pays his debts.